thing and understanding. Okay, so let me share my screen and please confirm if you all are able to see my screen. Okay, so just a second.
Yes, Raj, able to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit and explain all of this, but if you all have time, can start reading it. But I'll just read out. Okay. So it's a very basic term. I hope everyone, since they are experienced, though they are in different teams, different uh, domains. Okay, so you might keep hearing all of this. Okay, but simply them. If you look at the security threat, like it's just a threat. Okay, as you can see, my internet might seem unstable. I might change my existing internet connection while if at all it's disconnected. Okay, so bear with me for 2 or 3 minutes in between that connection only for this week. Okay, I'm in a different place. So security threat is just like any threat. Okay, so it can be a physical threat. Okay, if you're a person, if someone is going to harm you, it's called as a threat, right? But in his IT field, if it is harming your system, if it is harming your information, okay, if it is harming in any way, okay, stealing confidential data, okay, or stopping something to work on a system, is just called as a security threat. The word you keep hearing threat. Yeah, it's a threat that is disturbing our systems, computers. Our focus is mainly on endpoints, okay, be it servers or endpoints, or mobile devices as well. Okay. A vulnerability, the term vulnerability is nothing but a weakness in something. Okay. So we keep hearing the word vulnerability. It is vulnerable. The dictionary meaning of vulnerability is you're vulnerable to something. It's a weakness, right? So if you go to cold, you're vulnerable to cold. Okay. So you're vulnerable to cold temperatures. Right now you can catch cold early. So that is what vulnerable means. It's a weak system. It's a weak immunity, right? So if it's a weak operating system, someone can come and attack you. If it's a weak software applications where the software code has written in a weak manner, so someone can hijack your code and exploit it. So that's a vulnerability. Someone detects a vulnerability, we need to fix those vulnerabilities. You keep hearing fix the vulnerabilities, fix the vulnerability. It is basically, in our words, in a layman language, is just update a software or update a operating system so that the new operating system fixes that vulnerability. Okay, so that is our language. But in software, in security terms, vulnerability goes beyond, what is vulnerable? Is it a file? Is it a single file? Is it just a DLL file? Or how is it vulnerable? Okay, so what can the file do? Okay, that file. Okay, someone captures the file and take that file and then use the escalation of privileges or whatever it is. Okay, so it goes beyond. It's their job. A detailed security analysis will go from college fresher. Okay, he'll start learning about all these terms. Okay, so but if you're interested, you can start learning more detailed about file hash analysis. Okay, all of that. Okay, so but for us, vulnerability is just about updating a system so that some of the files gets updated and the vulnerability is fixed. So threat actor is again a person. Okay, a group, an organization, Russians, Israelis, all they keep hearing, right? So they are the threat actors who actually do the all of this hacking and do all of this ransomware, right? So attack vector, you keep hearing again this word, is the method that is used to execute an attack. Okay, so what method they have used? There are many methods. Okay, so one is remote code execution. You keep hearing that. Okay, so and then the other one is the email, spam emails. Okay, so I'll show you, I will talk about different attack vectors, but a vector is a method, okay, it's a way it is used to. So incident is again You keep again hearing this word, very incident. So what is an incident? Is just one occurrence. Okay, just one occurrence of actually something has happened. Okay, and there are some consequences in your system. Okay, an incident has occurred. Okay, but it's a group of alerts, you can say. Okay, so incident will become the terms here, at least in security operations term. We talk about alerts, 4 or 5 or 10 alerts in all the some 100 alerts come to your SecOps console. It means that an incident is created. A similar alerts causes an incident, and that incident is very serious. You need to fix it. If it's 1 or 2 alerts in a different system. So mute, guys. Can you please mute? Okay. So that's alert. Okay. So that's Sushil, please mute. Okay. So everyone, please ensure that you are muted. Okay. So the the compromise again is that so if something has happened on your system, we say that the system is compromised. Okay. So someone is attacked. We keep using the words like, if someone hacks your Instagram or Facebook account, say my Facebook account is compromised. So that's the term. So and the national state attack, okay, sorry, nation state attack is just conducted on the government organization or a finance organization. Okay, so disrupting the military and all of the government, White House hacking, all of that is called usually a nation attack. Okay, so again, if something has happened, it'll be happening only on these 3 ways. Okay, so either users do something wrong, okay, or if it's a poor network, your ports are open, your IP addresses are reachable from outside, you are able to reach. Okay, your systems are able to attack. Softwares are poor. Okay, so of course, no matter how uh, security is taken care while developing the software, hackers find a way to uh, break into your both network and software in one or the other way, and hence there is always a continuous work going on both from the operating system security fixing, application security fixing, and also more advanced techniques are used by the hackers to find out the ways to attack any system. Okay, so we talk about user-based systems, right? So it's mostly the compromised credentials. Okay, so we keep saying like, it's very, very important. The compromised credentials are the credentials can be leaked anywhere. Okay, saved passwords in your browser. Okay, so many other ways. So that is a leading cause. And that's why nowadays people are going passwordless. Okay. So passwordless in the sense like, they're using biometric with MFA. Okay. The reason why, imagine like, unless you are there in the system and your phone is there in the system, will not be able to log in. Right. So it gives you some assurance it's better than the leak. So if it's a password, if someone just gets hold of the password, you're not even there. Someone is using your password for doing something else within those few hours before someone tells you that you are leaked, I mean, or he might hold the password and do something. There is always, they don't attack until everything is gathered. Okay. So that is how all the ransomware happen. Okay. So now ransomware, the word ransomware is you might hear only when a big bank or a big company is attacked, right? But every day there are ransomwares happening. Now it has become just like a normal antivirus. Okay. So, and that is all because many people, almost all the ransomware attacks happen not on the first day. Okay. They get into your system and stay into your system for 3 or 4 months and see what is critical data. And all at once, they just steal the data, right? So they control more than just stealing. Okay. So social engineering again, okay, sharing something, okay, talking something in your social media accounts, your emails, okay, so your USB drives, okay, so connecting USB drive to your system, again you take back to your personal laptops and you share it to your friends. All of that really has caused so many issues. Okay, so because like you bring in a pen drive, I mean the USB drive from another system, okay, so there are some programs which when you connect to a USB drive, okay, so the programs run, steal the credentials and share it to uh, the hacker in the plain text. Okay. So they'll actually come to know in their programs in which they have created. So phishing is again, it's through an attack email or through a text messages, okay? So which deliver all of the links, right? So all the emails looks like as if it's an internal email, as if it's coming from Amazon or it's coming from a trusted site. They all look like exactly your company website and they'll ask you to click, okay? So all that is called as a phishing. So you might see in with your experiences, so a lot of simulation testings or education way of testing it to familiarize what is phishing, what is not phishing in our organizations. Okay, so these are all examples of phishing. Okay, they all look Amazon, but if you look at their email account, it's amazon.com, okay, something like that. So, and this is again how they install the malware, right? So you can just click on the link and then the malware is installed. Nothing happens, okay? No one even gets to know what is happening in the system, but some work in the backend keeps on going on so that you get mm, attacked. Okay? So this is again how do we fix it now? Okay, so we have all the information now. One of the main, what is antidote for it? I mean, what is the solution? The kind of solution is always, say for example, a multi-factor authentication. Okay, so go passwordless. Even if it's password, go MFA. Okay, so now talking about network-based attacks. Okay, so the term is again, you keep hearing of, okay, this denial of service, DDoS, DOS. DOS is denial of service, DDoS is distributed denial of service. Okay, so it's just stopping the legitimate users from accessing the systems that they are entitled to use it. Okay, this is another common thing that we usually use these words. Okay, so of course we have DDoS protection in Azure, DDoS protection in the M365 security, all of that. Okay, so you can just configure. So usually um, that's done in Azure Firewall. But again, the man in the middle attack is again, it's the same thing. A person is there and he just hijacks the connection between one user and another user. Okay? So that is the name of the man in middle attack. So usually all of this can be resolved using the VPN connections and the HTTPS connections. So we'll talk about software vulnerabilities, right? So as I was just saying, there's so many applications and so many softwares where they steal data by exploiting the weak code, right? To run the data queries, and then we have some malicious code in the system where they execute some code after gaining some credentials. So you hear the word zero day vulnerability, please patch my system. Okay, so that is mostly remote code execution. Okay, so other uh, kind of attacks there are so many attacks with zero-day vulnerabilities, but 80% is the remote code execution. So again, what is zero-day vulnerability and zero-day exploit? Okay, so these are the two terms you keep talking to your security team, and they come back and say, okay, so the manufacturer is not aware of until an exploit is in the wild, right? That is in the definition of it. Okay, so and this is manufacturer is not until it is disclosed publicly. That is zero-day vulnerability. So that is a zero-day exploit. So the growing, okay, yeah, so it's more of a marketing term. Okay, so but anyways, okay, so this is attackers are growing. Okay, nowadays attackers are paid. Okay, and per attack. Okay, so now there are ransomware kits to purchase. Like if you don't like something, if you want to attack an organization, so many of most of the people who attack and who claim, like no, they say the terrorists claim. They don't know, they don't know how to write all of these ransomwares. They don't know, right? So they buy ransomware kits. Okay, so based on the extensive of attack, they start paying the person who write ransomwares. Okay, so we have compromised PCs and devices. Okay, so we have stolen username and passwords out in the public internet. They are sold. Okay, they are sold. So, and then of course, there are so many other applications which allow DOS, DND DOS. So that is continue to grow, and hence there are so many cyber security companies who wants to prevent, okay, who wants to prevent and who sell those applications claiming that we can prevent 99% of the attacks, right? There are so many other attacks that is happening, but we also need to prevent all of this. So this is again the term lateral movement, and once this is again what, as you can see in this graphic, right? So it is again as you can see, the phishing mail starts, and then he opens an attachment, and then exploitation occurs, and there is a brute force that application finds that the user account is compromised, and he starts collecting all of the information, and there is an attacker attempt. He stays here only, he doesn't really do anything else. And then finally, and someday he identifies, okay, I understood your network, understood your system, I know how much of finance benefit I can actually take, and then he'll start exfiltering the data after he gets access to the sensitive data and starts demanding ransomwares. So yeah, for all the solution, we always have zero trust principles. You keep again hearing the word zero trust in every organization. So what does that mean? Right? The dictionary again, simple meaning: don't trust anyone. Don't trust your own system. Don't trust your own application. Don't trust your own user. Okay. So when you trust less and when you verify every time, right? Every time someone contacts you, every time someone accesses your system, okay, don't trust. Okay, so that is the meaning of zero trust principle. So we don't trust, we will explicitly verify everything before I authorize you to access something. So that is the meaning of zero trust. Okay, so again, not just zero trust, that is verification when you're trying to access the resources, right? What about verification when you're actually using the administrator tools, right? So again, you need to have just-in-time access and just enough access. We keep again hearing these words, JIT and JEA, right? So what it means is, like, if you want to execute some change request during a weekend, okay, yeah, let me stop here. Okay, so most of you all might, this is very old to them. Okay, you keep hearing these words, but I just want to finish for the completion's sake. Okay, the reason, because not everyone might understand. Okay, so again, this okay, so this is the least privilege and assume breach. Okay, so this is the least privilege is, like, if you are in a production environment, if you need access to a system, the security administrator or has a process to provide you exactly for those 4 hours through, in which we are carrying those changes, right? So, and how much access you need, they'll ask you, like, how much access you need, how long you need. Okay, so whatever the changes, based on the change, they get approval, right, from your seniors and from your management. So that is the process you all need to, every organization will actually do it sincerely. Okay, not everything is perfect when it comes to just-in-time access and just enough access, right? So 70% of the time, the information is wrong. So you want to carry the step for 1 hour, but you demand for 4 hours or 5 hours, or some people actually demand for 3-4 hours. A non-knowledgeable management or a change request manager will approve it, right? So these are very sensitive things in your organization that's happening. Okay, because most of the time people are non-security managers or non in product domain knowledge, they lack it, and whatever you say, they would be approving it. Okay, so eventually those processes are just for the namesake, but those processes should exist for securing your environment, but they're not. Okay, so this is how the malware is designed. Okay, so you execute, you continue the happening. Okay, so how do you protect this? Again, any kind of antivirus solution and frequent definition update. Is that the only thing possible? No, we'll look at it. Okay, so it has to be more than your file-based analysis. So ransomware is, again, this is how it actually looks. Okay, you'll be given a timer and you'll be given a Bitcoin ID where you can copy and paste it and transfer the money. Okay, so these are all the simple terms I was just talking about. So at this moment, do you all have any questions? Someone was unmuting.
No, Raj.
Okay, so we'll now go to exactly what is now Microsoft is offering as an entire security suite. So how many of y'all heard the word Sentinel?
I have heard it.
Okay,
Yes.
what's yeah. So what at a high level, okay, quick information. What do you know about Sentinel? What does it do? Why is it there?
So it's again like a antivirus for all the servers and all the systems and user devices. And
Oh,
like,
no, I think you are speaking about Sentinel One.
yeah.
No, okay, I'm asking Microsoft Sentinel.
Oh, okay. That is same tool.
Yes, you're right. Okay, so anything you want to talk about Seam 2? It's just an event collector, okay? So you can just say
Yeah.
log connect. Okay. Any other M365 security suite of products that you keep hearing, you know about it? How many of you all know about Defender for Identity? Okay, okay, okay. Defender for Cloud Apps and Defender for Endpoint, which we are talking today, and we have Defender for Office 365. Okay, so uh, we'll see. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, Raj.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you see here is a Microsoft Cybersecurity reference architecture. That's how they call it. And it is the complete M365 and Azure security to protect the entire, to secure your organization. Okay. When you actually look at step by step, they're nearly somewhere around 14 to 16 different products that are working together. Okay. And out of those 14 to 16 products, the product of our focus is this section that you see here, endpoints and devices. Okay. So let's see just at a high level, let's see what the reason why I'm showing you, because if you look at the discussion at a very high level, okay, the CISOs or the cyber architects decide, uh, they go with, if it's a Microsoft shop, they'll try to use as much as Microsoft products alone just to save cost, unless they find a competition product where it is much better than what Microsoft product achieves. Okay, so some people might not like Defender for Endpoint. They may go to security, Sentinel One, CrowdStrike. Okay, so McAfee. So this section I'm talking about. Some might not like. Some might not like other products like cloud apps. Yeah, so they may go to Blue Coat, okay, or WebSense. Okay, so let me talk about these products one by one. Okay, so if you look at, we have in the core of it, right, we have our endpoints itself, the Windows 10 and the Windows 11, the operating system. Okay, so if you look at it, inherently they themselves can be protected somehow to some extent, right? BitLocker is one thing. BitLocker is not a technology that is happening in the cloud or at your end. Okay, it is happening something on your system. Okay, application control, it is something happening on your system to prevent something. You can protect it, right? All of the endpoint protection and the policies that we push from Intune or from Defender for Endpoint, okay, is on the system. We just push the policy, we're enabling it, but everything, all of the processing is happening on your laptop. So your operating system inherently can be protected. Okay, so we can do disk encryption, we can do credential protection, and we can even control our network protection or our endpoints. When I say network level protection, not just the browser level protection, we can control at a adapter, at a socket level. to restrict it, to block it. Okay, so if you look at it, all of these policies, okay, network protection. Okay, by the way, I think the text is very small. Can you all zoom it, or can you all see it if you zoom your screens?
Yes, Raj,
Yeah,
able.
we can see that. Okay, so this Windows 10 and Windows 11, right? If you look at all of these protection policies that you see here, the network protection, credential protection, the encryption, attack surface reduction, app control, exploit protection, behavioral monitoring, next, all of this Windows 10. So these are the things that we are controlling. Okay, and these policies that we read all here, there's somewhere else. Okay, some more things that are not there mentioned here. All of these policies can be enabled on the systems. So by default, some are enabled, some are not enabled, some requires additional controls, additional policies on your endpoints. So each term is used in differently, right? When I say app control, application control, do all of the signed application needs to be installed on the laptop or no? Or can I whitelist and blocklist some of the applications? Yes, no. But how are we pushing it to hundreds of devices centrally? Right? If I have 10,000 devices in my organization, if I want to encrypt, I cannot go and encrypt on all the machines, right? Similarly, and hence we have some central tools like configuration manager, endpoint manager, or some other tools. So all of these can be done from two different tools when it comes to Microsoft. It is either Defender for Endpoint, which is a standalone solution, or if you integrate Defender for Endpoint with Intune, you can do it with Intune. Okay, so the when it comes to endpoints and devices, we have Intune and Configuration Manager. With these two tools, even along with integration with Defender for Endpoint, we can configure all of these settings in Windows 10 and Windows 11. Okay, so along with that, when it comes to going beyond our endpoint, we can have EDR solution. So EDR is what the definition, the main function of Defender for Endpoint. Okay, it is not just detecting something, it is also responding to that threat. So that is how the product has evolved. So 8 years back, 10 years back, if you look at all of our products, they would, okay, okay, so they would do a file-based scanning. Okay, so if people who have used systems for a long time, they have Windows 10 or Windows 7 or Windows XP machine, they download McAfee, they download all Norton or any other antivirus software. They need to update the definitions. They need to go to internet and update their definitions, and those definitions will be stored in your laptop. And every time you scan your drives or scan your USB drives, they scan against your database, your definitions, right? If no one has updated definitions for last 1 month, you will not be able to scan against the last 1 month's vulnerability. Threats. Okay, so that is the old way of traditional file-based scanning. Okay, so companies like SentinelOne and CrowdStrike, they started it a different way. Okay, they started a cloud-based servicing. Okay, you don't have to maintain their servers now. You don't have to do anything. They are doing cloud-based monitoring, where your endpoints are all mostly connected to your cloud in a different way. And I say they're not always connected. Okay, your agents has a capacity to send signals based on the behaviors. Okay, so that's how it evolved. Okay, so when I say behavioral monitoring, is say, for example, you're trying to run a PowerShell script with some administrative privileges, which is changing the system files, right? But based on the behavior, okay, so it observes, what is he doing? What is he changing? Okay, it's modifying some registries. If it is modifying the intelligence is it is appearing to harm your system. That is when a signal goes to your cloud services. So that is where the CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, all these products, right? They came into, they appeared like something new, right? And later Defender for Endpoint entered, but entered and entered in with the boom. And then if you look at why you actually need to see. Sorry, where I think. So these are all that, and okay. So if you look at why you need to study of the defender for endpoint, it's again the same reason, just like any other Microsoft product. So fortunately or unfortunately, defender for endpoint is now the market leader. Okay, so it started beating
I can't hear you, Rajiv.
Yeah, we lost you, Raj.
Mm.
how about now? Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, yeah, you're back. I think so.
Sorry, I think I actually entered spacebar, which muted. Sorry. So, okay, I don't know where I stopped. But again, yeah, so what I was explaining here.
Yeah, my defender for endpoint is beating all competitors. I think you're saying something.
Okay, yeah. Okay, then I think I did not lose for a long tough time. So that is what I was saying, like, no, just like any other Microsoft products, though, like, no, 6 years back, when you look at the Gartner Magic Quadrant, Defender for Endpoint was a niche player, right? So now it is a industry leader. Okay. So the reason are there are multiple reasons. Okay. They know about their own operating systems. They have the budget to invest something. They have the budget to buy other products, and they have people, okay? And their licensing cost. Okay. Their integration of all the products that you see here in this slide. All that makes it easier for Microsoft to take that leadership and the driving seat when it comes to any product. Okay. So what you see here is we're only talking about endpoints and devices. Okay. So just to rephrase, endpoint, the Microsoft solution is Intune and Configuration Manager. With these two, you can actually define the entire Defender for Endpoint product policies. Okay, from Intune and Configuration Manager, and deploy it to those endpoints. Okay, and those endpoints will start reporting to a service called as same Defender for Endpoint. It's a cloud-based service. So your console, your front end, your administration tool is Defender for Endpoint. Your endpoint is the endpoints itself. And now we are going beyond Windows devices. So we are going Windows clients, we are going servers now. Like now, after 1 year, we started with servers. After 2 years, we started with Android and iOS. Recently, Mac and Linux, right? So no matter which operating system you have, you will be able to install the Defender for Endpoint agent and protect it. And all that with a single one license, you can use up to 5 users per endpoints. So that kind of licensing is not there with other competition, and the price is less. So that is this is the cyber what you see, and there it goes beyond that. Okay, the entire thing what you see is the hybrid infrastructure, right? So this is again comes under the Azure security, which is a complete different topic, complete different. It comes under the infrastructure security. Okay, that is where you have Azure Arc and Defender for servers. Okay, so the Defender for server is to protect both Azure servers and the third-party cloud servers, because as soon as you have a virtual machine in any of the Azure or the third-party products, you can onboard it to Defender for servers. So that is your Defender for server product. And Azure Arc is again monitoring the vulnerabilities within your operating systems is a third party. Again, within the third party products as well. We have app proxy. Again, yeah, it has. You might start using it if you have an NDES and PKI service. So app proxy is like a reverse proxy. Okay, so it's a where you can. It basically translates the public URL to the internal URL. Okay, you can say, like, if someone wants to contact this particular server, though the server address is like vpn.your company.com, you don't want to expose that URL, you can use a replacement URL kind of a thing. So it's proxies that it proxies that. Okay. So anyways, that's not our topic of discussions today. So you keep hearing all of these words like Azure Key Vault. Okay, so where you store your certificates and keys, your web application proxy, all of these is a different technology. If at all you all want to pursue the security space, this is a wonderful technologies that you can learn. Okay, so again, our focus is only here, endpoints and devices. So coming back, we have something called as conditional access. Okay, so this is the infrastructure, and now we protected our infra, which is our servers, and now we are protect our endpoints. Okay, endpoints and devices, and hybrid infrastructure, and then the infra itself. And now we'll also have to protect some information that is already there, right? So who hosts all of the emails? So 99% of all the emails in this world today is hosted by Microsoft Exchange Online. Okay. So you'll see the market share of 2-3% between Gmail and some other services, but number wise, it's 99%. Okay. So everyone has to protect their Exchange Online emails. Okay. So everyone has to protect their OneDrive data, SharePoint data, because why? Because they are residing somewhere in the Microsoft cloud and someone is accessing from your organization. Okay. And now you'll have third-party services. So Azure AD is the core of your identity, right? So it's your IAM solution of Microsoft. Okay. So people might have Okta, people might have all the other things, but Azure AD, which is now Entra ID, they renamed it as Entra ID, is your core identity and identity and access management solution for almost every Microsoft backend service, right? So that is including Intune, including Office, including every other products, right? So if you are an Intune administrator, you need to know Azure AD, and how much ever you want to know about, how much ever you know Azure AD, it's good, it's better. So it is a fundamental concept to understand any cloud service. You should be knowing what is Azure AD. You should be knowing what is Azure AD PIM. You should you should be knowing what is the Azure AD Connect. Okay, to going to the next level, you should be able to know what is identity protection, and you should be able to know very easy B2B and B2C, where you are enabling interactions and collaboration with your third-party vendors, right? You need to
Raj,
add
you
your
used, sorry to interrupt, you used Azure AD, then Azure AD PAM. I didn't get the word.
PIM, I'm saying, privileged identity access, privileged identity.
Yeah, Azure AD PIM. Okay, here it is written. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. So anyways, we'll just, some topics we'll be discussing here. Okay. So that is your Azure AD and its protection. Okay. We're only talking about securing our own infra. What is our own infra? First is identity, and we need to protect it, right? So so I can tell the user, okay, be very careful of your username and password, okay, but he might not listen or he might not know. So it's our duty to protect it, and we have a product called Defender for Identity. If it has any signals to protect their identities, like you all know about this leaked credentials, dark web and all, right? Dark web is where they sell your credentials. They are actually your username and password is known, okay, and you can grab it. So all of that signals, all of that information, Azure Defender for Identity will identify. And when it identifies, it automatically prompts the end users to change the password, to verify something. You'll have a stricter controls. And you as an admin will also have reports and alerts of who are compromised accounts. So we have risky sign-in users and risky users. Risky users are those users whose credentials could be compromised. Okay, remember the difference, the word. Risky users are the users whose credentials could have been compromised. The second thing is, the reason why I'm telling you all of this is you might hear this word. Someone might not be able to access a laptop. Someone might not be able to access their Intune, not be able to sign in at all. And suddenly when you investigate, you will see that user is a risky user. It means that Azure AD administrator has to approve to further proceed for even the sign in to work, right? So the risky user is the one which in Azure AD is identified as risky user, and it is marked as a risky user because the user appears to be risky for many reasons based on the Azure AD own algorithms and intelligence. Next, we have risky sign-ins. The user is not risky, but he keeps on signing in, he or someone else, okay? So he'll sign for 1 month, okay? So or for last 3 days, he's been signing in from Bangalore. Within 1 hour, he'll be signing in from USA. So that is a risky sign-in. Like, you will keep hearing the word again, impossible travel. Suddenly you are here, suddenly within 5 minutes, you are signing in from Russia. So that is automatically Azure AD will identify and mark it as a sign-in risk, and you have two actions, okay? Again, you will create rules where you will say like, verify it again using MFA. And if it does it again, that is when you mark the identify as a risky user and block it. Okay, all those rules is a different product, and that is called Defender for Identity. So people buy it or people don't buy it is a different thing. So we talked about two different products. One is Defender for Endpoint, where it is used to protect our endpoints, and now we're Defender for Identity, where we need to protect the identity of the users. Okay, risky users and sign-in users. And also not just that, okay, so additionally, anyone who is signing in, we have our own policies. Okay, the PIM, privileged access identity manager. Okay, whoever wants access, the RBAC. So everything comes under the identity protection. Okay, so that is by default. You will get it for free, but if you want to, if you pay, you'll get some additional benefits. You'll have some access reviews, right? So okay, those are all advanced topics. So access reviews are like, you joined an organization today. Over the course of 1 year, you'll get access to so many things, right? You'll get to access to that server, this server, those sites, these sites. Okay, and after 1 or 2 years, you'll have access to so many things. But do you really need access to so many things? You might need access for only one time, but you did not go and tell your administrator, block my access, right? So all the things, imagine if it's a 50,000 user organization, right? He gets access to so many, all those 50,000 users have access to so many SharePoint sites, so many websites, so many Salesforce accounts, all of these access they have, so many servers, so many service accounts they have. You need to, do some governance to control that, right? That is a day-to-day security IAM's job to run that, to use the access review feature where you do a campaigning and tell the users that, like, do you need all of those access? Mark me, okay? Ask the manager. All those are automated tools, okay? They will send the tool will send an email to the manager asking us, do they need all of these? So manager's job, it's a mandatory thing for him to do the access reviews. That is where you start limiting control to access all of those systems, right? So that is your identity protection tool, okay? So now we have another thing called as your Office Defender for Office 365. It's your third Defender Suite product. So that is again handled by Exchange team, Exchange Online team, or your SharePoint admin team and all. And that is to protect your emails, to protect your SharePoint data, and to protect your OneDrive itself, right? So if you look at that tree, if you look at that cloud data, so that is where you do. And now the third one, the fourth one, you have Defender for Cloud Apps. Okay, so I'll just take a break, 1 minute break, when I'm giving you thinking, like, no, anyone heard of what is Defender for Cloud Applications? Because it's a common, people use it, or similar product they use it, and people with Intune also might have used it. So any idea what is Defender for Cloud Apps?
I heard that name, Raj, but don't know what it actually does. But I heard.
Okay. So the okay, you might most of your companies might have installed products like Blue Coat or WebSense, right? So if you're trying to access Google Drive on your laptop, Blue Coat will block access to it or any other cloud application, Dropbox, Box. Why? Because they don't want you to upload your files to your public accounts, public drives. So the term in IT, they use something called as shadow IT. So shadow IT is the things that you all do because it's a cloud application. Okay, it all started with 10 years ago, right? There was nothing like shadow IT at all 15, 20 years back. So it all started like, 10, 15 years back when shadow IT tools started coming into picture. Why? Because earlier, if you want to save something, there was nothing like cloud drives. Okay, so it was only your email and nothing was accessible outside to the public. Now you have internet access and you have uploading capacity, uploading products where you can push information to the cloud. Okay, not necessarily always Box, Dropbox, or Google Drive. It could be a Salesforce. Okay, there are policies where even if it's a Salesforce, you'll not be able to upload Salesforce data from your laptop. Okay, that could be blocked. Your Salesforce data file should be attached from your Salesforce repository itself or attachments, or someone shared their links. Okay, all those policies will be in control. The point of the entire Defender for Cloud Apps is to monitor your interaction from your laptop to your cloud apps. So it sits like a proxy in between. Okay. And you'll not be installing any proxy server here. You'll not be installing anything. The beauty of this entire Defender for Cloud Apps is, or any Defender, the reason why, the reason why Defender is so easy to do it is you don't have to install an agent. Okay, for any of these that you see here on an endpoint, whether for Defender for Office 365 to work, Defender for Identity to work, Endpoint Manager, or even the Compliance Manager section, or even the MCAS, Defender for Cloud Apps, none of the products require an agent to be installed on your machine. Right? If you go to CrowdStrike, they need to install an agent, and their administrators have to ensure that agents are up to date. Okay, if they release a product, they release a feature, and they'll come with a documentation saying that even agents have to be updated. Okay, so here,
Sorry, so Raj, so this Defender for Cloud Apps, does that actually like work on the endpoint itself? Like I want to block, let's say, Google Drive for the users. So I can just create a policy to block Google Drive completely, and it will block on the endpoints, right?
yes,
Okay.
the way it actually works. Okay, so the way it actually works is every time you try a browser, okay, so it redirects to a site called as MCAS site, your cloud app site. Okay, so that is where you get block access. And the agent will now get a policy to not allow uploading of the data. And every time you just drag and drop a file on your Google Drive, it'll show as blocked. You'll not be able to, your administrator has restricted access.
Okay, so if a device is boarded to like Defender, yeah, so it anyways like all the traffic goes through this MCAS, yeah.
No, not Defender. Okay, I want to get clarity here. Defender for endpoint onboarding is different. Only these things work. You
Okay.
also need to onboard the device or enable the device to monitor it. Okay, so that is where you onboard the agents to Defender for Cloud Apps.
Okay, so and if they are like, if I have let's say onboarded the device on Defender for Cloud Apps, all the traffic will I'll be accessing it will go through the MCAS, like it will be monitored traffic, right?
Not all the traffic. The apps that you mentioned.
Okay.
Okay. for blocking and for processing. And now, if you want because it is a monitoring thing, all of the monitoring information and log signals that you say, the traffic won't go there. It only sends you the information. Okay? The signals, the information that sends you, it only sends it here to the cloud apps. Everything that you do, there is something called as a sense agent or the defender agent on your Windows machine. Based on the features that you activate, that information or the signals will be sent to the respective service.
Yeah, but then I mean, the whole traffic will be monitored anyways, right? And then if it finds the anything
Yes.
related to my policy,
Yes.
it will send the signal to back
The
to cloud,
traffic,
right?
yes, the traffic will be monitored here,
Right,
but the blocking will not happen there because on nothing, if you upload, it will not go there and block. It'll be blocked right away on the machine.
right. So anything I've created the policy to block, it will send the signal and will be blocked, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So whatever you are using on the system, this product should know. And then your administrator will come and think, okay, this guy is using all of these products. Is it okay or no? Right?
Okay.
He'll monitor all of that. And then he'll some say, okay, oh, he's using GeoCloud, which is not good because recently we found something. Okay. I'm just giving an example. So that is where you can block GeoCloud across your organization. Okay. And the next time he tries to access something, GeoCloud won't work.
Okay. And are we going to discuss this thing, Defender for
Cloud
Cloud
apps?
Apps in detail? Yeah. Or
No.
is it only for only for endpoint? Yeah.
It depends, like, if you all want majority, okay, so like, the topics that I already have is huge. Okay, so but
Right.
the all of this 5, 6, including Sentinel, is where I'm actually having another session, which is
Okay.
only M365 security. Okay, so that when I tried it, though we said 20 hours, it went for 28 hours, which I think like, it will go for 3 months. So I was just
Okay.
thinking, like,
See,
all of
the
these are
point.
different.
Yeah. The point is actually I understand for like Defender for like the what is it called, the M365. Yeah. That's a different product altogether, or probably as a Intune administrator I would never need that. That's a
Which one?
different team. For 365, Defender for 365. Yeah. For that's a
Office?
different product. Yeah, Office. Yeah, Defender for
Okay.
Office. That's
Mhm.
a different product. Yeah, but then probably for Defender for Cloud Apps, it's kind of looks like it is kind of related. Yeah, to our systems that we are managing. I think I don't know like about the others. Probably I would
Yeah,
like to at least touch upon it and
you're
get a
right. Okay, so I'm not
understanding.
saying,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. So in that,
Uh,
yeah, you're absolutely right.
yeah.
So yeah, so in that way, like, even this will come some one or the other way they're related to the endpoints. Okay, see,
Yeah.
we'll definitely cover that. Okay, so if that is your requirement, if someone feels its requirements, we'll just accommodate. Okay, so yeah, I know the challenge why people get that uh, difficulty in grasping this point because there is no proper flow in which they educate. Okay, so though you sit and read, people won't get it. Okay, so yeah, we'll just cover. Okay, so I'll show you a path on what is this product, how do we configure, what is the flow of moving. Okay, so that it's easy. Okay.
Yeah. That's all we need actually, at least.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No problem. Just remind me if at all I miss. Okay. So, but we'll do it in first few days. Okay.
Sure. Thanks.
The same thing goes with information protection. Okay. So you have sensitivity labels, right? All of your documents that you see, you'll have this confidential, all of this. Okay. So this is again a widely spoken topic today because of Copilot, right? So your data governance and advanced e-discovery, all of this is a massive topic. Yeah, maybe it's an extension of your SharePoint, OneDrive, Exchange Online team, but it is, if you want to go beyond Intune and endpoints, you can actually, you don't have to go to Office 365 and do administration there, but it is very career growing technology. This is nothing but compliance manager. Again, they have renamed into Purview. So again, P-E-R-V-I-U, I think. Okay. So this is again very important today. Why? Because the Copilot is getting access to almost all of your Office 365 data, right? SharePoint or OneDrive. So you will be questioned as an endpoint administrator to some extent, like, what access I have, what are the files. So it's very good to understand this, okay? So that is about your compliance manager. And now we again, uh, yes, okay. Sure. Yeah. So this is we discuss about information protection, AD, and then cloud apps. Yeah, this is again on a completely a different topic. We don't have to discuss this. So this is your defender for cloud. And then finally, all of this information, whatever you see in all of these, every product is designed to send out logs to this collector. Okay. It's a CM and the SOAR tool, right? It's a collector. And this is the database of almost all the data and where we can actually process it. And that is where we have threat experts. Threat experts are again the people who log in to Sentinel or to find in Sentinel, either through API or through personally or through Custo queries or any other queries. This is where they query all of the data that is sent here. So we'll again, it's again an infrastructure tool. The security guy or an infra guy will have more information on this. It actually technically Sentinel belongs to your infrastructure. So they would, again, it's a huge tool where it requires at least 1 year or 2 years of training. Okay, a proper experience guy, if you really want to go advanced. Okay. So any questions in this entire picture? I probably will not come back here. It's very important. The only reason why, because your organization, to some extent, someone in your conversation might use the word, yeah, MCRA. So MCRA is nothing but Microsoft Cybersecurity Reference Architecture. And this is multiple products work together to protect, okay, something. That's it. Again,
Raj, I had a question actually.
yeah.
My question might be quite beginner level because I have no idea of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. So, is it a separate portal or is it included in the Intune
It's a
Endpoint
separate
portal itself?
portal. Yeah, it's a separate portal.
Okay, and will we be learning about it through
Yes.
portal as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't worry. Okay.
Thanks.
So that when you cover topic, right, you will get full understanding. What I am doing today is pure basics, pure theory.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if I directly go to portal and if I start using the words, oh, these are the alerts, these are the kill chain and all, you'll not understand. Or
Okay.
if I open the portal today, like detail, so it usually cover more than like 30-35 hours. So I cannot cover that in L1 and L2 where people don't understand what is Entra ID, what is uh, synchronization of on-premise identities or user groups through an AD Connect. They've not heard of all those things, right? So they've not ever heard of exactly Intune is, right? So they just came to build a career. So that is not the course we are talking about. People who should understand why we use Intune, what are the policies, what are configurations, how do we deploy applications. So anything trivial, right? Anything normal that everyone does we are not covering. Okay. So it doesn't mean that we are just directly jumping on every topic, but everything will start from basics, but that will be much quicker. Okay. So what if you look at this, we have I've designed it in a different way, okay, based on my feedback, based on the experience of last 6 years. From what I understand is it's not about the product anymore, right? It's about how we understand the product, how it fits in every organization. So if you look at every company today, they're talking about zero trust architecture. So you might have already seen. So at a architect level or at a CTO level, every organization aspires to use the necessary tools to become a zero trust organization. Likewise, a passwordless organization. So yeah, we will talk about passwordless MFA authenticators and then phish resistant MFAs like FIDO keys, Windows Hello for Business. So these are the two strategies that you see customer asking all of your vendors to achieve this, right? So, but Intune at least plays 40 to 50% role in achieving a zero trust uh, goal for any organization with respect to endpoints at least. Okay, so basically zero trust is not trusting anyone. So you verify every request, you authenticate every access before providing some access, right? It starts from mobile phones. It starts from mobile application management, where we talk about accessing data exfiltration, avoiding data leak, right? DLP control. So once we fix the mobile part, so we talk about BOYD devices, and then how do we provide DLP controls, right? DLP is like uh, leak. Okay, so data leak prevention, data loss prevention. Okay, many names. But if it's BOYD, so what level of controls? Where do we control? How much of OneDrive? How much of SharePoint? How much of Outlook of data can be, to control all those things, right? So we talk about that. Okay, so when you look at the picture from a high level of M365, Intune at least plays 40 to 50% role. Okay, so I'm more focused on what would be the future. So if you look at uh, a little bit traditional, going back 4, 5 years back, so we talk about a lot about co-management. How do we package applications? How do we deploy policies? How do I do same things in Intune that we did in group policies, right? Though I'm covering that one. Okay, so again, so that is not nowadays, it's not really important. Okay, so I do have, like, I'll plan for 2, 3 hours because anyways, people ask a lot of co-management and hybrid deployments in my third topic, you see, right? So again, one caveat, one this thing I just wanted to say, I don't have a co-management environment. I do have an hybrid environment, but not a SCCM environment. Okay, so I will not be showing anything that's there and will be deploying in an SCCM. When I say co-management, I'll only be showing the co-management configurations. I'll be showing the co-management workloads, what is it, and what happens on the CCM, SCCM agent. What are the things that need to check whether a certain policy or a certain app is coming from SCCM or Intune? How do we review logs and how do we understand the whole process? Okay, that is, I don't have an SCCM environment to showcase, but I'll have an hybrid. I'll have all of the M365 and also the Intune Suite capabilities. So a lot of customers now, I'm not sure if you are going, so a lot of people start doing all these things, especially remote help and EPM, endpoint privilege management with Intune. Okay, so all these advanced features, right? So these are not part of Intune Plan 1 license. So likewise, when it comes to my even mobile phone, right? So we talk about tunneling, Microsoft Tunnel. So where is a per app VPN? We discuss all that. So all these things, including the cloud PKI, so they all come under Microsoft advanced capabilities, which means that as an Intune advanced capabilities, which means that none of them are actually a part of Plan 1, even if you have Microsoft 365 subscription or E3 or E5, doesn't matter, or a business premium. So it doesn't matter which subscription you have, it has to be bought additional licenses, either as a suite or either as an individual solution. So why Microsoft is asking money for all these? Because these are all replacing your existing products, right? So if you look at EPM is replacing Boomgar or CyberArk. So like, CyberArk endpoint privilege management, where we have elevated privileges for a certain process or an application for a certain period of time. So that is what EPM is, right? So same thing with desktop analytics. It's replacing Nextthing or Systrack, right? So those things are mostly additional products. Remote help, yeah, right. So they are replacing TeamViewer or so many other remote monitoring tools for help desk. So likewise, for example, if I sit on EPM, it'll take 2 hours, so which we are doing it. Okay, so each topic is discussed in some detail. The way I plan is a little bit of introduction and then the concepts of EPM, and then how do we configure that on the system, and then with Intune, and how do we see it on the client. Okay, that's the whole strategy. I usually do it for most of the things. Important things. Okay, so there are around 10,000 policies in Intune today. I'm definitely not covering all those 10,000, right? So the important, if you see how something behaves on the system at the event logs and at the registries, so we'll probably understand the things also logically. Correct. So it'll be like a refresher who know some of the information, but they don't have clarity. So the goal is to give you more clarity on Intune, more clarity on Entra ID, how to onboard Defender for endpoint and Defender for cloud apps with respect, how is Intune affecting those things? What is the impact of devices when an MDE or a sense agent is onboarded to two XDR solutions like identity or cloud apps or even endpoint? Okay, so we're not doing any application deployment. Okay, so but I'll tell you what kind of applications and how do we deploy. But anyways, it's the same thing I cover in L1 and L2 training sessions, where how to package a Win32 application, how to deploy it, how to one or two any applications that you pick, and then we'll see the Windows IME, Intune IME logs, right? So the step in the process. So whatever I discuss, it doesn't mean it's not there in the internet. They're very well explained better than me. Okay, so it's all about your patience to go ahead and go and learn from there. But the only thing is it might not be interactive, or if someone needs any help, you might not have a person, but doesn't mean that you cannot get anything in the internet today. Okay, everything is available in the internet. It's all about your patience to sit and read. Okay, and everything is there in the documentation. Okay, nothing new, nothing hidden, nothing's okay. So it's just maybe reducing your time for learning. Okay, that's the only goal. I was just out here. So what I'll do is I will take questions. I'm not sure. Because every time I sit and take questions, it'll go for a long time. So please, so your voice is low. Even now, is it low? Okay, so you guys can't unmute. Okay. Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks. Okay. So any questions? I'm not sure if you guys can unmute. So if you can't unmute, please post your questions in the chat. Yeah, we are starting the classes next week. Okay. So what's the duration of the course? Okay, so duration of the course can go on for a long time. When I say long time, so it depends. There is no fixed time because based on the topics, it'll go for 30 hours, 30 to 32 max. Okay. So what in 32 is exactly what you see on this sheet right now. Okay, for example, Windows 365 Cloud PC, right? So you will normally don't have this course anywhere because it's not a complete course, right? So it doesn't really require a lot of things for us to understand. So if you take a Windows Cloud PC, it has just two subscriptions. One is enterprise, another is a business. And then within the enterprise, there are two ways of managing it. Either it's a hosted Microsoft network or it's a VNet, right? So if it's a VNet, again, whether it's a hybrid or whether it's an inter-ID join. So if you actually sit through it, it'll take 2 hours, right? So that 2 hours is what you should be knowing of the entire cloud PC, because why we need to know, again, it's part of Intune console, and then we are able to provision PCs and deploy PCs, and also all the policies are set from Intune, right? So likewise, one weekend is gone just with these two topics, right? So I don't know how long will it take, but 32 hours is what I plan to cover. Some of the boring, I mean, not boring, I mean, some of the things that you guys already know might reduce lesser time like these. Okay. So, uh, and then, yeah, so 32 hours, 28 to 32 hours is the maximum duration. Bulk deployment method. So what is bulk deployment methods? Okay. Um, So what is the bulk deployment method? So there are only 3 ways or 4 ways in which we can deploy or enroll devices to Intune, correct? As soon as you hear the bulk, we always use the PKG file, right? .pkg file. So through Windows Configuration Designer. So I usually don't cover because it's rarely used, but if it's needed by anyone who is already working, well, will cover it. Okay. So normally, the PKG is just a file where we configure everything and create a PKG file and then email it to users or use a USB to send those files, right? So when someone double clicks it, the device joins or enrolls to Intune. Along with some policies also we can configure. It's like Apple configurator with for Mac OS. So the other bulk enrollment method is what? The white glove or the pre-provisioning method, right? So when you get all of those IT devices, you power it on and then connect to the LAN cable, and then you pre-provision all the devices where 80% of the policies and apps are already installed before the user logs in. And once the user gets the device, yeah, they usually log in. So that's the other bulk provisioning method. So the third bulk provisioning method, if you want to say, it's a GPO based method, right? So deploying a single group policy to all of your Active Directory domain joined devices will also enroll all of your devices to Intune in a bulk. But you need to know, it doesn't mean you will probably have a chance to do it, because by this time, almost all the organizations, they might have already moved to a hybrid AD join Intune devices, right? So, but you should know the process. You should know how the whole cycle works, how device syncs, and then how the device, it depends on initiation, right? Who initiates it, whether you bring a device which is Active Directory joined, or you bring a device which is just the Enter ID join, right? So where do you start is again, yeah, we will discuss those 3 things along with the new device preparation of Intune, right? So where you don't need an hardware hash, right? You can define set of policies and rules, and Intune automatically identifies that particular device based on the username. Uh, okay, so that's what I was just saying. Sorry, I was just reading the chat. I got thing. So what are the topics that are covered in MDA? So normally on a normal Intune class, I just covered onboarding and policies. But with MDA, yeah, MDE here. So I spend a lot of, not lot, another 2 to 3 hours in, see, MDE is in sections, right? So the onboarding, policies, actions, alerts, and events till there. After that, all the events are sent to your Sentinel or SIEM, right? We're not covering that. So we're only covering till alerts and actions there. So again, 4 hours on MDE, one complete session on almost all the features that normally people use. What is MDC? If you mean Defender for Cloud, no, because that's for servers. Defender for Cloud Apps. Again, that's a that's a completely a different product. Well, we look at exactly what we need at the end user computing's perspective. I'm not looking at the tool. Okay, so normally what organizations do, they have one or the other tools to monitor cloud apps, right? So if someone is uploading files to Google Drive, it should be blocked. Someone is using WhatsApp, attaching attachments in WhatsApp, it should be blocked. How do we block WhatsApp web itself, right? So it is an integration of two products now. So in the Defender for Endpoint, we will block WhatsApp. But if you're okay with allowing WhatsApp, but you need to file upload to a WhatsApp, then it comes the cloud apps, right? Yeah, so those things will just take one application and one configuration and see how we can do that. So that cloud apps is covered. Okay, so which I put at the last, right? Okay, this one here. So as I told you already, co-management, I think I've answered. So are we deploying configuration apps Win30 to WAP2 3XML? No, I don't know about that. So I cannot cover. Will the course covers device query and explorer? So device query and explorer, I'll see if I have a license, I'll cover. Even if I don't have, I'll get some tenant with a license. If someone is asking, yeah, so we'll see. Okay. So, but there's nothing in actually device and license cover, right? So yeah, anyways, I'll cover. So because the ready-made queries are already there, if you want more queries, you need to understand KQL. So explore is again Copilot writing, we'll see. Okay. How is Intune different from IBM Master 360 MDM? Nothing. IBM Master 360 MDM is, it depends what we are talking about, right? So if it is a mobile devices like iOS and Android, it's ditto, same. There's no difference. Just the tools is different. UI is different, and its backend is different, right? So IBM Master 360 has uh, Oracle database and a Linux appliance, right? But we don't know what's there in Intune. But even IBM Master 360 people who worked in cloud-based will not know what is there in the backend, right? So it's still the same. When it comes to the UI, you still have a console, you'll still be able to push policies to the mobile devices. But for Windows, I don't think so. Any other tool, any other MDM solution will match what Intune can do today. Okay. So it's very different. How VMware Workspace ONE or Mobile Iron or any other MDM, they can do equally good when it comes to macOS, iOS, and Android, but not Windows. So 30 hours or 32 hours or more, it's 4 hours per weekend. Okay. So since it's 4 hours per weekend, you can calculate that. Okay. So we don't know right now. People want Diwali off, people want mm, Dashera off next week, all that people keep asking. So even if it's a perfect every weekend we cover, it'll take 2 months, right? 16 plus 16. So it might take 2.5 months. Okay, so that's why I always say October, November, December. Okay. So yeah, we're covering Defender for Endpoint. Is SMB sector have restrict some users to team file sharing and video calls or chats plus OneDrive access to those mobiles accessing outside? Yes, we'll cover that. The right course to learn Defender for Office? No. Defender Office? No, absolutely. This is okay. So that is usually covered in Office 365 course, not Office 365 course, another security course which covers on like spam emails and different Office 365 policies, like all these links. But if you have any specific query, let me know on Office 365, but we are not covering. So will you give documents for everything? Yes, they're already there. You just need to give me your email addresses once you join the course. How will do you do cover Windows Autopilot? Yeah, so we are we are covering Windows Autopilot practicals through virtual machines only. Okay, so if you have physical machines, great. And by the way, people who don't have any labs, I would highly recommend. See, I mean, I'm asking people with 1 year experience, right? So you should be able to know how to create a lab, how to create a virtual machine, how to run Windows and make it as an autopilot device. Okay, so but if you still don't know, let me know. Alternatively, my tenant is always available for you to for you to use. I'll always share with username and passwords. You can use my tenant as long as you're there in the class. Okay. So how many classes will be there in a week? It's only weekend. Just one question, sir. But is there any placement support that that is separately, not any part of all this? But on usually depends, right? So no, no. I usually cover a little bit of how to face interviews, how to prepare yourself during the last days, last class. But it's again, it's nothing special. It's just normal conversation where people miss out on basic things. But placement support, I don't know what does that mean. Does it mean finding the related openings and helping you in the first round, second rounds and all? Yeah, sorry, no, I cannot do that. I can help you if you call me separately. Can we get the recorded sessions? Yes. So does it cover? Yes. Endpoint in detail. See, endpoint in detail, again, that itself is like 10 hours, 12, 14 hours course. Okay. So 60%, 80% will be one way, right? So if it's a one-way course, which means that 2 hours you keep listening, right? It's not an interactive classroom thing where we sit 8 hours and where you sit and do, I didn't get it, I can help you. You did not get it, I can help you. We cannot do that, right? In these 2 hours. So we have to do justice for all these people. So when I say detail, the information that you get, you need to explore the rest 10, 20% of the time over the weekdays to do something. So there is no dedicated session, at least for till December, for MDE, C or MDO. Okay. Thanks. By the way, MDO, it doesn't take more than 6 hours. If you know already Office 365, you don't even need to learn. Okay. But again, it depends. Okay. So people are getting confused with MDO and Purview, Microsoft Purview. That is a different course. Okay. So Purview is totally different, where we talk about sensitive labeling, right? Insider risk management, DLP, Purview DLP. Yeah, that is completely different. So don't get confused with Office, MDO, and MDC. See, MDC, it's morely infra related, right? It's nothing related to Microsoft 365. So MDO, MDC, MDO, I think, yeah, last January, February, I think, yeah, 2025 February, I took the class. I might take in December last, purely only on MDE, MDO, and cloud apps. Okay. So are we covering MS Graph? Okay, but I want to know, what are you doing with MS Graph? We keep hearing that word, but people don't understand what are we doing with those graphs. Okay, so if it's needed, if you understand, if it's a requirement, yeah, I'll cover. But it will not be used. I can guarantee that. Okay, so because a lot of get requests are failing And also, since the GET requests are itself are failing, and the PUT requests will also, endpoints will change. Why? Because no matter what you create a program with Graph API today, so it will actually fail after a few days. Why? Simply because Microsoft is still inventing the database, right? So they're just creating different endpoints. So whatever you use a program to pull and put data automatically and retrieve any data from Enter ID database or Intune database, okay, so that might not work. You'll always need to change your Graph API queries. Okay, so but if someone needs to know how to develop your knowledge on Graph API, yeah, we'll cover that. So that's not there. Let me write it. So VPN tunnel. So I don't know what is VPN tunnel. So if it means Microsoft VPN tunnel, I don't cover it on L1 at all. So I might just give introduction, but yes, here one session is on Microsoft tunnel for mobile applications only. Okay. So may I know when are you going to take? I don't know why are we repeating the question. As a UC engineer, should I learn Defender for Endpoint or CrowdStrike? I would say both. Both are good, both should be learned. If you get a chance to learn CrowdStrike, yeah, please do. Because whatever, see, the fundamental concepts are same, right? We are protecting an endpoint, we're protecting an operating system, right? Not a Dell machine, not a HP machine, right? We are protecting Windows operating system. We are protecting iOS. Doesn't matter how CrowdStrike or endpoint, they all protect. But 80% concept should be understood. What is a malware? How does it attack? What is the attack chain? What is a kill chain? What is lateral movement? How do we see that on an endpoint? How do we lock out credential managers? Right? So a fundamental concepts you should keep learning every day. Tool is different. It's just a UI, right? If I say EDR, the EDR concept of both CrowdStrike and MDE or even Sentinel-1 or any other products is still the same, right? So tools anyone can learn, but technology is different. Okay, that is what you need to learn. Can you please let me know once again on above query, which is MD, MDC, and MDO? No, okay. So that is again not this class. Because see, that alone is half a class, but Entra ID is what I cover in that security session a lot. Entra privilege management and then Entra ID governance and then global secure access. So that itself will take a time. I cannot make a time for these things buffer because it will take 12 to 13 hours. So I need to bring up to class for more than 24 hours, right? So that is a different class. So how much fee of this course? I think it'll be 15,000. So we can talk further. You can talk to Amit. What topics differ from beginners and advanced? See, I think I already show. Okay, so this is what I cover in beginners class. Okay, so what you see in the screen. See, beginners is simply discussion of all these topics. Okay, so people like lab setup, how to create groups, what is autopilot, what are user group, dynamic user groups, right? What is enter ID? What is see, don't expect me to again discuss what is enter ID join, what is automatic enrollment, what is hybrid AD join. Okay, I might cover 10 minutes, but I cannot spend more than others because others will get angry, right? So you should know what is Apple Business Manager, right? There's nothing like I cannot explain what is VPP again, volume purchasing programs and all, right? So these are all the things we discuss. So fundamentals of MAM. Okay. So mostly the only thing that can be repeated should be MAM and conditional access. Okay. The only difference is maybe I'm going into Windows MAM in the advanced class. but a mobile should be same. Rest everything will be different or add on from what we already have in the security. Okay. So I'll be very honest when I say I don't know the name like Intune architect, right? So there's not usually okay. So what I believe is there shouldn't be anything like a product architect. Okay, and especially when it's a Intune. So it's nothing like Intune. Intune is a small tool, correct? It's not complex. You cannot. You might become an Intune SME. Okay, but if you're saying architect, so it should. But the way jobs and the way things are is to understand at a broader. You can become a Microsoft 365 architect, and doesn't mean that Microsoft 365 has nearly 14 products. You don't have to become an expert, but at least 4 to 5 you need to be an SME to become an M365 expert. If you look at the jobs opening, yeah, they're everywhere. They're M365 architect, M365 architect. Okay, but when you look at the job description, they say you need Office, SharePoint, Intune, Entra ID, Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Cloud, all that they might have mentioned, but you will not find anyone in the market with expertise on all the 10 products, right? So you'll only get expertise on 4, 5 products. So that is the first goal. After that, you can apply. The names, designations are a bit different. Okay. Uh, so learn at least 4 products to an expert level, then automatically those jobs will come to you. And it's tough. Okay. Four to five is tough. Okay. Because if you sit with MDE alone, it'll take 1.5 year to 2 years experience. I mean, proper production experience. That is when, without even preparing, you can talk. Okay, any day, anytime. The day you can speak about a product any day, anytime is when you'll get a jobs, good jobs. So can you eligible for architect role, completing the role? See, all covering practicals. Yeah, I'm covering practicals for Windows 365. Yes. So can we have core concepts? See, again, I can cover for 15 to half an hour. Core concepts of MDM, MAM, and compliance policies, but that's very basic, Suresh. So could you please tell me how much fees I already told? So do you cover planning of onboarding? See, onboarding AVD in Intune. Okay, I'm not sure how many people have used AVD and Intune. It's just one click of a button, right? If you're in the AVD while creating a host pools, you have an option to join the device to enter ID. Correct? So that is your answer to this question. So if you click on that, your machine will join to enter ID, right? And that's why how your machine will also automatically enroll if you enable that particular user. So that's how all in companies people do. If you join the device to enter ID, it will automatically enroll to Intune, and you have that one